Jaya Kunja Vihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Vihari, Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha, Jaya Girivaradhari, Jaya Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Jaya Yashodanandana, Jaya Brajajana Ranjana, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava, Jaya Kunja Bihari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naik. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam 10th Canto, Chapter 11, verse 53 to verse 54 to 56. Chapter entitled The Childhood Pastimes of Krishna. So as we have 3 shlokas, so we would not do a back and forth recitation. I'll just recite the shloka, the translation, and the purport. Verse 54. Shrutva tad vishmita gopa gopyas chati priyadhrita pretyagatam evo sukyad aiksanta rishekshansana. When the cowherd men and women heard about the killing of Bakasura in the forest, they were very much astonished. Upon seeing Krishna and hearing the story, they received Krishna very eagerly, thinking that Krishna and the other boys had returned from the mouth of death. Thus they looked upon Krishna and the boys with silent eyes, not wanting to turn their eyes aside now that the boys were safe. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Because of intense love for Krishna, the cowherd men and women simply remained silent, thinking of how Krishna and the boys had been saved. The cowherd men and women looked upon Krishna and the boys and did not desire to turn their eyes aside. Verse 55. Aho batasya balasya bahavo mrittayavo bhavan apyasid vipriyam tesham kritam purvam yato bhayam. Translation. The cowherd men, headed by Nanda Maharaj, began to contemplate. It is very astonishing that although this boy Krishna has so many times faced many varied causes of death, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it was these causes of fear that were killed instead of him. Purport. The cowherd men innocently thought, because our Krishna is innocent, the cause of that appeared before him were themselves killed instead of Krishna. This is the greatest grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Verse number 56. Athapyabhi bhavanti enam nevate ghora darshana jigham sayainam asadya nashyanti yagnav patangavat. Translation. Although the causes of death, the Daityas, were very fierce, they could not kill this boy Krishna. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys, as soon as they approached, they themselves were killed, exactly like flies attacking a fire. Purport. Nanda Maharaj innocently thought, perhaps this boy Krishna formerly killed all these demons, and therefore in this life, they are envious and are attacking him. But Krishna is a fire and they are flies. And in a fight between fire and flies, the fire is always victorious. Fighting is always taking place between the demons and the power of the Supreme Personality. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Anyone who is against the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be killed, life after life. Ordinary living beings are subject to karma, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always victorious over the demons. So we'll chant prayers. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatham Sahagana Gunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Savadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Nitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haritiye. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I welcome all of you here who have joined this morning's Bhagavatam class. Everybody here at the Bhakti Center and everybody online. Thank you so much. Please pray for me so that I can be an instrument that we can together inspire each other in this path of bhakti. So I'll read the translations again. Verse 54. When the cowherd men and women heard about the killing of Bakasura in the forest, they were very much astonished. Upon seeing Krishna and hearing the story, they received Krishna very eagerly, thinking that Krishna and the other boys had returned from the mouth of death. Thus they looked upon Krishna and the boys with silent eyes, not wanting to turn their eyes aside. Now the boys were safe. The cowherd men, verse 55, the cowherd men headed by Nanda Maharaj began to contemplate. It is very astonishing that although this boy Krishna has so many times faced many varied causes of death, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it was these causes of fear that were killed instead of him. Verse 56, translation. Although the causes of death, the Daityas, were very fierce, they could not kill this boy Krishna. Rather, because they came to kill innocent boys, as soon as they approached, they themselves were killed, exactly like flies attacking a fire. So here we are at this point in Srimad Bhagavatam, where we are hearing one after the other the pastimes, childhood pastimes of Shri Krishna. And I was just thinking, when I was thinking about Bakasura, because this is a shloka which comes after the death of Bakasura, that at one place here in these pastimes, we are seeing that Krishna is acting as God. Demons are coming to Krishna, and Krishna is saving the day by killing these demons. But at the same time, there is also very sweet Leela going on in Vrindavan, where we are seeing time and again the love of the Vrajvasis, how special they are. And it's very interesting, and Acharyas remind us again and again that there are two energies of the Lord. Either we are in Mahamaya or we are under the influence of Yogamaya. These demons are definitely under the influence, at least inspired by the influence of Mahamaya, coming towards Krishna. They are inimical towards Krishna. They want to kill Krishna. While the devotees, when they see Krishna, they just see that, oh, he's just like the cutest person, the cutest kid in the town. Oh, he's just a love of our life. And these two things are going on parallelly in these pastimes. And I was meditating more on Bakasura. So a question to all of you, did we discuss the backstory of Bakasura? Like how Bakasura became Bakasura?
Not so much.
Okay. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur actually writes about Bakasura, and he says that in Brahma Vaivarta Puran, it is mentioned that Bakasura in his previous life was this Gandharva. So there are various types of demigods or people who live in the higher planetary systems. Gandharva are the ones who have a very beautiful voice. They are famous for this singing. So Bakasura, he in his previous life was born in the Gandharva Loka, or amongst the Gandharvas, and his name was Suhotra. And he then took Diksha from Durvasa Muni. And after taking that Diksha, or initiation, he wanted to please the Lord. And he was doing tapasya. And he goes to a very special place known as Pushkar. Some places it is mentioned as Pushkar. It's a place in India. And then he's doing his tapasya, his austerity. And somehow he did not complete his austerities. And one of the days there was a pond nearby, and he sees a lot of lotuses there. He is very captivated by them. and he starts to pluck them. That whole area or forest was managed or maintained by yakshas. Now, yakshas is another kind of divine entities, or celestial. I should not say divine, celestial entities. But they generally are the servants of Lord Shiva. So that place was under the care of Lord Shiva, and he happened to trespass. Suhotra happened to trespass in that area. The yakshas bring him in front of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva says, "My wife Parvati has taken this vow to please Krishna by offering this certain number of lotuses. And because you have plucked them, she will not be able to fulfill her vow. You have trespassed in this land. So I curse you that you will be a demon. But because you have done tapasya before, I see, and even now your mind was that you wanted to do something good by these flowers. You will be a demon, but you will be killed by Krishna. That's how you will get liberation from this curse and liberation from this life." So this is the backstory of Bakasura. And Bakasura also represents some other qualities. So few demons, acharyas have compared them with various qualities. And Bakasura is generally compared with the quality of hypocrisy and duplicity. And I would say a few words on that as well. So now Bakasura is Bakasura, and in this life, and before he comes and is killed by Krishna, he was actually very eager. Generally, Kamsa, who was basically controlling all these demons, he was on point, asking and forcing the demons to go, especially after a point when the demons knew that if they go, they are going to die, because that's the fate of each and every demon who went. But in case of Bakasura, he was looking forward to it. Now, why he was looking forward to it? Because Aghasur, the snake demon, and Putana, the lady who fed poison milk to Krishna, who got the highest benediction from Krishna after being killed, both of them were the younger siblings of Bakasura. So Bakasura had like even more reasons of like being angry at Krishna. But when Bakasura comes to Vrindavan, he sees Krishna, that he is just such a sweet, soft boy. And he was like, okay, I can just like maybe devour him and I'll be done. And this is how he just comes and puts Krishna, swallows Krishna. And we know the story that how Krishna emanates such heat that Bakasura has to throw him out of his belly, of his mouth. And then later he's killed by Krishna. Acharyas also say that how other demigods, they come to save the day, saying that, oh my God, Krishna has been captured. What to do? And they are trying their best, but ultimately nothing works on Bakasura. And ultimately Bakasura is killed by Krishna. So this is the story of the backstory, the front story, or whatever you want to say. But why is Bakasura connected with hypocrisy? And this is a lesson which Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also gives us whenever we discuss about Bakasura, that how devotees should be very, very vigilant, and we should try to not be hypocrites. We should try to not be duplicitous. At least we should try sincerely to be as truthful as we can be. So there is a pastime of Lord Ram and Lakshman as well, that once Ram and Lakshman, they were there in their exile in the forest, and they were passing through a pond, and then they see this beautiful white bird. So swan, if you see in Vedic scriptures, has been glorified a lot. And devotees, exalted souls, are known as Hamsas. And beyond Hamsas, the exalted souls are known as Paramhamsas. Param means like super. So they are like men, and then they are like supermen. So Paramhamsas are like super exalted person. And Hamsa means swan. And the quality of the swan is, which is glorified in the Vedic scripture, that if milk is given mixed with water to a swan, Swan will only drink the milk and leave the water. So the quality is that the devotees always go for the essence in any situation. Now, this bird was also white. Bakasura is also white in color. Looks like a swan, but actually not a swan. It's a crane. And when Ram and Lakshman were there, they saw, and Ram was saying, look at this bird. Such deep meditation. Standing on one leg. So cranes are generally standing on one leg. And if you have seen, there are some pictures of Hiranyakashipu also. He's standing on one leg. And there are like some ways of austerity where you stand on one leg, you stand on your toes, and then you meditate for a long time, duration. And Ram said, it's so inspiring. See this bird? This bird is standing on one leg for such a long time. Because they went for doing something, they came back and the bird was still there. And Lakshman said, oh, Ram, you are just, he's just waiting for the fish to come. That's all. There's no meditation, there is nothing. And similarly, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, we should not be like crane. We should not just do austerity for the just sake of showing. We should not be Vaishnavas wearing tilaks just to show that we are very nice devotees. And then we are here in the movement maybe for name, fame, money, or just a nice community. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, we should know why we are here. We are here to practice devotional service. We are here to serve Vaishnavas. We are here to serve Krishna. We are here to spread the message of the Bhagavad Gita. We are here to spread the message of Shri Krishna. Do devotional service and not for any other reason. And that's why he really criticized the Upper Sampradayas a lot. Those who were, there are devotees who said that, oh, we are in this perfected state. And they started behaving like animals of Vrindavan. Someone is a peacock and they make peacock sounds, and then someone is a crow, or someone is a grass or a cow. And he really criticized. And he said that this quality is coming from Bakasura, and devotees should always be alert with that quality. We should not be duplicitous. We should not be hypocrites. We should try to be sincere devotees. So that was one of the points which I was thinking when this story came in my mind. But apart from this story of the demon and focusing on the qualities which we should be aware of, and we should try to not do them. Generally, I was thinking, why will someone lie? And I was reading, and one of the acharyas says, generally people lie because they are fearful. And then the acharya was saying that if someone is truly sheltered at the feet of Krishna, then there is no bhai, there is no bhayam. So when this word bhayam came in the last shloka, I was like, yeah, actually, if we have full faith on Krishna, what is there to be fearful of? And it is something difficult to practice, but at least we can know it, and we can at least aspire for it. That we should try to seek shelter in devotees and try to seek shelter in Krishna and Guru, instead of seeking shelter in every other thing in this world. Because no matter whatever we have our shelter in, the bhaya will not leave our heart. And that's why our founder Acharya, his name was very perfectly given by his father, and again his spiritual father, Abhay Charanarvind, one who has become fearless as he is situated at the feet of Shri Krishna. So this is also another thing which I was meditating on when this shloka came. Now let's look at the different perspective of the Brajvasis. Now here are the Brajvasis. So as soon as Bakasura is killed, Balram and everybody, they are like singing glories of Krishna, and they are like so excited. You young kids, this big demon came and Krishna just killed this big demon by breaking his beak. And the Brajvasis is like, what? What just happened? And then they see the big body of the demon, and they are just so astonished. And it's like, oh my God, we don't know what happened. And these kids are saying stories, but ultimately we are just so happy. And they also are feeling this fear. Whereas it is spiritual fear, because it's connected with Krishna. They're just so happy to see Krishna safe. They're just so happy to see that everything is fine. And they're just looking at Krishna and everybody else. And then Nanda Maharaj is thinking, oh, I think, in previous life, Krishna killed these demons. That's why one after the other, they keep on coming here. But just like flies fight with fire, and ultimately the flies, they can never be victorious. The fire wins. Similarly, nothing is going to happen to Krishna. And because Krishna is just Krishna, and he's just innocent. Krishna is just innocent. Their heart is just, Krishna is so innocent. And then last shloka, he's just again, this thing is going on, that they are just like fireflies who are coming and committing suicide because it's not in their karma. But one thing I want to point out in the purport, Prabhupada writes that, first thing he writes, that fighting is always taking place between demons and the power of the Supreme Personality. And he quotes the shloka from Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. So that is there. But then there is another thing written by Prabhupada. Anyone who is against the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be killed life after life. So that's like a verdict of anyone who is against the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be killed. And then the second line, he says, ordinary living beings are subject to karma. So why is he writing that? And in my opinion, he's writing that because when these demons are coming to trouble Krishna, they are dying. But the demons might be successful in giving trouble to other living entities, because other living entities are subject to karma. The Supreme Lord, he is not subject to karma. He is always victorious over the demons. So before I focus more on the demon aspect and the killing aspect, Nanda Maharaj is thinking like this. And why he's thinking like this? Because he's under Yoga Maya. So there is a place in Nandagaon known as Nanda Baitak. So Baitak means a place where people sit. Sit for doing what? Sit for discussions. So this is like after like multiple demons have been killed, and Nand Maharaj like calls all the people of Nandagaon, all his subjects, women and men, gopas and gopis. And he says that, Garga Muni has said that my son or our Krishna is a very exalted personality. And then Garga Muni even said that he might be Narayan himself. And then everybody is very serious. He's like, yeah, that demon came and Krishna has killed that demon, and this thing happened, that thing happened, and Krishna is always untouched. I think you are right. And Nanda Maharaj suddenly says, but, he just lies always. How can someone who lies can be Narayan, can be Supreme Lord? And then everybody's like, when did Krishna lie? Krishna never lies. He says, yesterday only he was eating butter. Butter was everywhere on his face, smeared on his face. And we said, why are you eating butter? And Krishna says, I am not eating butter. I'm just here. I'm just sitting. And his face is full with butter. And then someone was saying, oh, the other day, Krishna just entered in my home, and then he was with all these monkeys. And it was just like everywhere there was like butter and like yelling and screaming, playing with monkeys. And we don't know what was going on. And then how can he be? And they were just laughing, thinking about Krishna. The other one was saying, yeah, the gopis said, we were going there, and then Krishna was making trouble. He was not letting us pass. And he broke our pots. And he's just such a mischief. And then few gopis said, but Krishna is so adorable. Oh, come on. Why are we criticizing Krishna? He's just so sweet. And this is the mood of the Brajvasis. They just love Krishna so much. Even when the awe and reverence comes, they just can't focus on that. And everybody just forgot why they all assembled. They always talking about Krishna. And this is what a Baitak should be. A Baitak should be to basically discuss Krishna. And that's what we are trying to do here in our Bhagavatam classes, to discuss about Krishna. And that's the ultimate goal, to think and remember Krishna. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's the sum and substance of the whole process we have here. All the rules and regulations which exist are basically to facilitate that we always remember Krishna and we never forget Krishna. And the more we remember Krishna, the more purified we are. The more we remember Krishna, the more we talk about Krishna, the more shelter we can take of Krishna. And as the shloka says, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, sarver gunesh samasatir sura, that if we are doing bhakti, if we are discussing pastimes of Krishna, priti purvakam, Krishna will reveal. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I will reveal myself to you. But most people, they can't understand me. He's saying in the Bhagavad Gita straight. And same thing which we see happens in following chapters. We'll see how Brahma, he is so disturbed because he sees in Vrindavan, he hears that the Supreme Lord, after his request, has appeared and as Krishna is there. And he just sees that these group of boys, they are sitting there. Krishna is in the center, and Krishna is basically saying, "Oh, Madhumangal, what did your mother get?" And Madhumangal says, "My mother today gave me the best laddus." And Krishna eats the laddu and takes a bite and gives it back to Madhumangal. And Brahma is saying, I am worshipping Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, like the God with 1,000 heads. He comes personally to take my bhoga. In Satyaloka, thousands of Brahmanas are always chanting mantras. We are doing Homa and we are doing everything so perfect. Everything is so clean. How can this boy be the Supreme Lord? How can he be the original personality of Godhead? He's like, what is this craziness? Everybody is eating it, then give it to Krishna. Krishna eats it and gives it back. Can you imagine you go and you eat and you give it to Radha Muralidhar, and Muralidhar then gives it back to you after taking a bite? And this is inconceivable for Brahma, and he is bewildered. He is just so confused. But Krishna is saying that Krishna reveals to those who have love in their heart, who love discussing about him. Priti purvakam. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They feel satisfied by inspiring, by discussing amongst each other the glories of Shri Krishna. And I think I had one more point to say, but I would take a pause here because it is 7:50 and I would like to hear from all of you. Any comments, any questions, any additions to this wonderful childhood pastimes of Krishna? So sweet they are. Let's see if we have something in the chat. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Andrea is saying, mischievous, cute, sweet Krishna. Yes, he is the most mischievous person ever, actually. And then there are some other comments from Bhakti Center. Someone has written, a show of humility will not work. Only after duplicity has been given up can there be bhakti. One's bhajan actually begins when one's outside and inside are the same. We lie out of fear. Yes, that's what Acharyas say. We lie out of fear. And that's why it's so important for us to take and seek shelter of the feet of Shri Krishna. Krishna Daya Prabhu is raising his hand. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for the nice class. And then Krishna's pastimes are so sweet, so there can be no question on that. So the point where you said about we lie because out of fear. So maybe that is true even in the spiritual sense also. Sometimes we lie in the devotee aspects also. I mean, like sometimes in the fear of, not harming the people, so we may feel that, okay, the deities may get harmed or in some adverse circumstances, or to protect devotees. So that sort of fear. So do you think any justification for that, Prabhu? Or
so you are saying justification for lies?
Yeah, lying, but not for, this case, not in the normal mind.
Acharya specifically mentioned the lies which are for personal self-interests. So they are pretty clear on that. And see, ultimately for devotees, it's very important for us to know that we are not just some people who only believe in moral values. For us, the highest value is what is Krishna's desire? What is our Guru's desire? What's best for bhakti? Morality is to basically facilitate our practice of bhakti. Morality is not the aim of that. Now, this is a statement I'm saying, and I know this can open a Pandora's box. But in essence, basically, the end can justify the means. And in general, what I was speaking in terms of lies was basically to highlight the hypocrisy, the duplicity, which generally a jiva, generally people like me, they have. And it's for self-interest, it's for selfishness. It's not for greater good. Like, for example, someone may throw a big event at a big place, and then they say, oh, and because they are fearful, they may go to other person for another event, and they say, oh, that person is charging just like $5 from me. Why are you charging more from me? And then it's because they want to negotiate. So they are doing business, and that is also allowed. In business, they do other things, and there are some limitations, and that's why we should do this in consultation with the guru. So this is also, like, I gave this example because it's a very gray area example. But then the other example is, which Acharya say we should definitely not do, is that we pose as some high exalted souls, and then we exploit the innocent ones. We wear Vaishnav tilak, we have a kanthi mala in our neck, and we are basically breaking the regulative principles, or we have ill feelings, we want to harm other people. This is what is criticized by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Taking advantage of people is criticized. That hypocrisy is criticized. Even in bhakti, when we come and we are not cautious, then puja la pratishtha, they seep in, and bhakti becomes secondary. Puja la pratishtha is primary. That how can I do so that I get more fame in the bhakti community? How can I do something so that I get more money? And this is at the expense of the devotees. It's not that someone is working hard outside. It's just to exploit people. That is what is primarily here referred to by me.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Anyone can add anything to this this point, which I just made. Yes, Krishna, Adi Purush Prabhu, please.
Wonderful class. We delight to hear your the joy when you speak about Krishna's pastimes and how his mischievous is so attractive. On the subject of fear, of course, the fear of the Brijavasis is based on their love for Krishna. But there are many perplexing and challenging situations that we go through in life that might cause us to be fearful. When things seem to be out of control or antagonistic. But Srila Prabhupada tells us that a devotee can choose to have the mentality of the rat or the mentality of the kitten. The rat is in the mouth of the cat, and he's just thinking, now I'm doomed. Now I'm in terrible danger and I'm going to die. But the kitten is also in the mouth of the cat. We heard this many times, but it's nice to hear it. The kitten is being carried by the scruff of the neck by the mother cat, and the kitten is just hanging there thinking, okay, I have no control over where I'm going, but my mother knows, and she loves me, and I'll be protected and I'm safe. So we can be like that, even in the most apparently disturbing situations. We can kind of relax and say, okay, Krishna, we know you know what's happening here, and we only want to serve you, and therefore we can relax. Prabhupada, like you mentioned, Abhaya Charanavan, he is fearless at the lotus feet of the Lord. And we were reading recently where Prabhupada said, we cannot actually love anyone, and we cannot actually be fearless unless we surrender to Krishna. So those two things happen as a byproduct of our surrender to Krishna. We become fearless, and we actually become capable of being genuinely affectionate. Anyway, just a small hope.
Prabhu, can you tell us what Dhanurdhara Swami says about worrying and fear?
We've heard this many times. Mara said, worry is not necessary. And then he said, worry is ridiculous. Oh my God. Worry is actually insane. It gets more profound as he goes on, it's not necessary. Okay, it's ridiculous. It's insane. I'm insane. And then he says, worry is actually sinful. And then he said, worry is offensive because we're thinking Krishna doesn't know what he's doing. But the Bhagavad Gita describes if we accept the fact that Krishna is in control and that Krishna loves us and that we're supposed to please Krishna, this is the peace formula. And if we forget any one of those three things, if he's my friend, but he's not in control, what's the use? If he's in control, but he's not my friend, what's the use? But if he's in control and he's my friend, but I'm not thinking, how can I serve you, Lord? Then there'll still be anxiety. We'll feel like we're getting dragged along screaming instead of
Thank
surrender.
you.
Go on.
You have your hand up.
Gail.
Gail.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. I was thinking when you said that, the ends justify the means, I was thinking back to, we have a history in ISKCON of devotees during Sankirtan or something. I don't have specific examples, but, it's like we have this reputation of having done, let's say, shady things to get donations from the public for Krishna conscious objectives. So what do you see as, if you do see, was the problem with that?
In order for me to speak, first of all, I have to be aware of the full situation. And I'm not, so it's hard to comment. But I would just say that we are here to spread the message of Krishna. That's the primary object. Taking donations is us giving everybody an opportunity to serve Krishna and Krishna's mission, devotees, Srila Prabhupada, our Guru. But it's one of the opportunities. Transparency is very, very important. And also, most important thing is that this whole effort of us reaching out to whoever we reach out to is out of compassion, and not from our compassion, but from the compassion of the spiritual master. And so that's why I think whatever activities which we do with people, when we are interacting with people who are not devotees, we should have that foundation of compassion, and we should try to care for them. And that's why whenever anything we are doing, we should always consult devotees who are more wise, our Guru. And that's why I again and again say that we should always have somebody whom Guru Sadhu Shastra. We should always refer Guru Sadhu Shastra to understand that how we should behave in a particular scenario. So that's what I would say. Okay? It's not a direct answer to your question, but maybe we can connect later, and maybe I can if I understand what this is about, then maybe I can share more. But Guru Sadhu Shastra is always a reference point. Whenever we do something, we should always consult with sadhus. We should check with Guru. If we are doing something new, if something is already established by other Vaishnavas, then we can just be a part in it.
One other thought I had about the subject is that if we are crooked in our way of trying to collect donations, and then the person finds out later, then it ends up being bad preaching for Krishna consciousness.
100%. I fully agree. I agree with you. So we should bad preaching. The idea is to bring people near to Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. I hear the conch, so I'm going to stop. Thank you for your answer. Yeah, it was very nice, especially the part about, the real point is to extend Guru and Krishna's compassion, not to, really just. Anyway, I like that aspect of your answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I also see that there is a question in the chat. Beside our intrinsic anarthas, who are the demons of these modern times? This is by Bhima Prabhu. With my limited understanding, I would just say that the demons of modern times is anything which helps me forget Krishna. Basically, that's what I would say. Anything which takes me away from Krishna. That's a demon for me inside. And all the demons are basically in Kali Yuga. So this, I've heard some Vaishnavas basically comment that in Satyuga, demons were like in some other plane. Then in Dwapar Yuga, they were on some other continents. Oh, sorry, Treta Yuga, they were on some other lands on the same planet. So in Dwapar, they were on the same land in the same country amongst us. And in Kali Yuga, they are within our heart. So that's what I've heard, that as Kali Yuga has come, they have come closer and closer. Now they are within us. So apart from the anarthas we have, I think anything which takes us away from Krishna, and that can be social media, that can, and it can be different for different people. It can be association which we keep. It can be the food which we eat. It can be anything which helps me forget Krishna, is what I would say is a demon in the modern time. Anyone would like to add anything to that? Anand Bihari Prabhu, would you like to add anything to that?
No, it's perfect. Perfect. Maybe Bhima Prabhu wants to add something to his question. Bhima Prabhu, you want to say?
No, Prabhu. I think that was a wonderful answer. That's great. Now I'm going to rip my chest open and find a few of them and dash them. Yeah, the stone wall. Hare Krishna.
So I think it's already 8:04. So if anyone else would like to say anything, any comment, any questions, any criticisms? So
Very nice class. Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Thanks for Bakasura's backstory. It was very interesting. So if we screw up, we maybe become a demon, like a duck. But we'll be saved by Krishna.
Great fortune. Becoming a demon is not great, but being killed by Krishna is great.
Yeah. Getting killed by Krishna is great. That's the name for this class. Joking. Okay. Karuna Nimai Prabhu ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Being killed by Krishna ki jai. It's Friday, dear devotees. Have a wonderful Friday. Give it to Krishna. Krishna is there to receive it. He's in your heart. He'll deal with the anarthas. Bhima Prabhu, just help him. And yeah, that's it. Come back tomorrow. Hare Krishna.